Hanson's.
Whoa. No, there's nothing wrong with your TV. Imagine for a minute what life would be like, though, without the ability to see colors.
In fact, about 300 million people suffer from some degree of color blindness, but now there is new hope. A pair of glasses that can turn this into this. Today in Ann Arbor, 4 people got to see and experience color for the very first time.
The people we spoke to today had a hard time differentiating certain colors and said some colors that would be bright would seem dull. So they tried on these glasses today, hoping that would change.
First time here? Yes. Oh, okay. Welcome.
John Kobus helps run Le Bon Macaron Cafe in Ann Arbor.
The nougat is similar to chocolate.
It's filled with bright and colorful macaroons.
And we do the coffee and French sodas and lattes, and so it's a nice business to be in.
But Kobus always struggled to differentiate colors.
I've often thought my mother never taught me the different colors.
It turns out Kobus is actually colorblind, and he's not alone. Today, he and a group of people tested out a pair of Enchroma glasses in his shop, hoping to see colors vividly for the first time.
I hope it really works. I hope it's like, you know, kind of taking the blanket off.
When it was time to try on the glasses.
1, 2, 3.
Very few words uttered as they took in new shades and hues. Wow. Seeing colors pop on book pages.
The reds are really vibrant, and as well as the green.
Kobus can now see the true beauty of his macaroons.
Where the biggest thing is seeing the passion fruit here and then looking down here at the lighter colors.
It's a new experience for the group to finally see the full color spectrum.
It's like there's more colors.
I'm Coco McAvoy, Local 4.
That is fantastic. Local 4 News at 6 is next.
We're working on stories from Sterling Heights, Warren, and Metro Airport. Plus, most coyote sightings in Metro Detroit have been at a safe distance for humans. Well, not this time. We spoke with the woman who took this picture. And here's Sean.
All things Yzerman. As the captain comes home, fans are fired up.
To Gardner White. Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 6 starts now.
Is there a name that means more to Detroit sports fans? There have been captains before him and captains since, but only Steve Yzerman is known as the captain. He earned it by bringing the Stanley Cup home several times and building his legend over 22 years on the ice, wearing just one team's jersey. From the moment he retired, we had a feeling this day might come. Now, just like he did as an 18-year-old, Steve Yzerman is bringing new hope to a downtrodden Detroit hockey team. The captain is back, and he's running the Red Wings. We don't want to say we saw this coming, but from the moment Steve Yzerman was no longer the general manager in Tampa Bay, Detroit sports fans have known there's only one place the captain was headed, and that's home to Hockeytown.
You might say fans are on cloud 19 over the news of Yzerman becoming the Wings' new general manager. Sean Lay has been getting reaction from elated fans, but our team coverage here at 6 begins with our Jamie Edmonds. She's at LCA, and Jamie, what an exciting day.
Karen, this is the most exciting day that could happen to this Detroit Red Wings team. The captain, as you said, coming back in a different role, now general manager, a guy who's had a lot of success in that general manager role as well in Tampa Bay, hoping to bring a little bit of that here in Detroit. And he said today at the press conference, the work starts now.
Thank you. I really appreciate you all.
This was a long time coming. Steve Yzerman back with the Red Wings, this time as GM. He joked he thought he would have to wait a whole lot longer.
I thought Kenny was going to be the manager for X. Jim Nill's going to take over for Kenny. And, you know, I'm going to be 100 before I get to be the manager of the Red Wings. So
this moment made possible because former general manager Ken Holland decided to step aside.
It's a real exciting day for me to see Steve Yzerman come back where he belongs, back in Detroit with the Detroit Red Wings.
Holland stays on as senior vice president, and Yzerman says he will call on his friend and mentor often. But make no mistake, this is Stevie Y's team now, and he believes the future here is bright.
I think we're off to a tremendous start as you watch the team this year with the likes of Dylan Larkin, Anthony Mantha, Andreas Athanasiou, Tyler Bertuzzi, Philip Aronik. You have the foundation for a core there.
So he likes what the Red Wings have done, right now. They have this great core of young guys, and he thinks the future is bright. He did say, pump the brakes a little bit, fans. It's going to take a while to get back to that Stanley Cup contending level, but he thinks he could do it. Now, of course, that press conference was packed with so many people, including former Red Wings, and I caught up recently with Henrik Zetterberg.
Obviously, it's a big day for a club, and Stevie meant a lot for me during my playing years here, and obviously Ken meant even more for me. So it is a big day. It's a great day for our organization, and for me it was a pretty easy choice to come down.
He says that his playing time will not have any effect on his managerial skills. Do you agree?
No, I think when you play for that long and you had the success he had as a player, you learn so much that will reflect in his management job. So even though that he probably doesn't think that, that definitely helps him.
There's a wonderful sense of family with this organization. It's why Henrik Zetterberg wanted to come back, and it's why Chris Draper, Darren McCarty, and all these people were here for this great moment. This feels like a game changer for this organization. We'll get more into that in sports, but Sean has been out on the streets talking to people. I'm guessing that excitement level is pretty high. Sean.
Big time, especially when they see a sign like that on Little Caesars Arena, Jamie. Welcome home to the captain. Look, I met a man out in Livonia today, John Yu. He owns a sports shop out there. He came here from China back in 1989 and says he has been married to the Red Wings ever since. So when the news broke today about the captain coming home, he was more than ready.
Best thing I heard so far this year.
Maybe no one is as excited about the return of Steve Yzerman to the Wings.
My phones have been off the hook, nonstop about Yzerman stuff.
As John Yu.
It should be a holiday today.
John owns the Pro Sports Zone in Livonia.
Man, this is the back in the days throwback.
When news broke about the captain this morning.
Brush my teeth, fix my hair, straight to the shop, and I've been busy since this morning when I got in here. It's just amazing.
He began stocking his racks.
Yep, we just put those out.
With all things Yzerman.
Standing cup, mini standing cup, signed by Yzerman.
John has been with the Wings since he first got here.
Come here in 1989 from China. I've been watching him play since the 90s up, and it's a roller coaster. It's like a marriage.
Now he's building a welcome home shrine to Stevie Y.
It's a welcome home party for Yzerman.
And all of Metro Detroit, all of Michigan is invited to this welcome home party.
Welcome home, Yzerman. The captain is back.
I love that. John holding the cup over his head now. He just sent me a text, John did, from his store in Livonia saying he has sold so many number 19 jerseys today and taken more orders over the phone. He says people just want a piece of the excitement of what was really a big shot in the arm for the Red Wings today and going forward. Guys, back to you.
Oh, a day we have been waiting for so long. Thank you so much, Sean. We appreciate it. Take a look at this. People seeing this image all over downtown, from the Fox marquee to the scoreboard inside Comerica Park. It simply says, welcome home.
And I'll tell you, that looking at that sports shop makes me want to go get another Yzerman jersey. I bet a lot of people thinking the same thing. And right now, click on Detroit.com. You'll find everything Yzerman. You can watch the highlights from today's news conference or take a look back at the tribute video we made for him after the Wings won the Cup in 2002. Plus a fun story collecting fans' creative reactions on social media to the news of Yzerman returning home.
Well, it's a big holiday weekend with Passover and Easter, so we need to toss it over to Andrew to find out how the weather's going to shape up.
Yes,
That's
sir.
right. And so far we're looking at, well, we had quite a bit of rain earlier this morning, then a dry spell still lasting through right now across most of southeast Michigan. But as you take a look here, south of I-94, a few sprinkles returning here around Adrian, also portions of Monroe County. That is a sign of more rain to come, but not until later tonight. with more widespread rain. I think we will still see some sprinkles start to enter into the area as we go over the next couple of hours, but this area of low pressure to our south, it steadily moves in our direction, bringing a shield of more widespread, heavier rain by later tonight, generally after 10 p.m. and toward midnight. And with a wind shift coming out of the northeast, there are flood concerns once again. Lakeshore flood advisory up already for Sanilac, St. Clair, and Monroe counties from now through much of Saturday. As you can see, as we go through tonight, we're looking at scattered sprinkles here and there between now and the start of tonight's baseball game. That's at 7 o'clock over at Comerica Park, but more widespread rain as we go toward midnight and certainly during the overnight hours. So what does that mean for the rest of Saturday? What about Easter Sunday? That part of your forecast in minutes.
All right, thank you very much, Andrew. Ahead of a busy travel weekend, a lithium battery caused quite a scare and longer wait times at a metro airport today. Bag caught fire at the security checkpoint in the North Terminal just before 3 this afternoon. You can see the burned spot in the center of your screen. Firefighters were able to quickly put it out, but passengers had to be moved to a second checkpoint. It may be another hour before the first is back open, so the TSA says travelers should expect longer wait times.
The search is on for the person responsible for dumping a dog at a landfill. This happened earlier this week in Salem Township. Sheriff's deputies say an English bulldog was left on a soaking wet dog bed with 2 containers of food and water. They believe the dog was deliberately abandoned there at the landfill. The dog is now in the care of the Huron Valley Humane Society.
A man wanted for murder in Georgia has been arrested for sex trafficking in Warren. Glenn Hogan is facing charges of prostitution. Police say he left Georgia and was living in motels across Metro Detroit. They say he brought a woman with him and advertised sex services on the internet. Hogan remains behind bars until his arraignment on Monday. Police in Georgia plan to extradite him to face the homicide charge in their state.
Tonight we have answers about that mysterious white substance found in a Macomb County creek. Now we know it's concrete washout, likely improperly dumped by a company. As Nick Monticelli reports, the next step is figuring it out. Who dumped it?
Good evening. Here is the boom installed to try to catch some of that concrete substance that we now know was flowing down the creek and into the Plumbrook Creek as well. Now, the workers used a really thick rope and made this incredibly tight because they knew that with all the rain we got overnight, this water flow was going to be incredibly heavy. So this was designed to try to catch as much as it possibly could.
I don't like looking at these kind of pictures. I looked at this yesterday and said, you have got to be kidding.
They certainly are maddening to see, the photos of a mystery white substance floating in Macomb County creeks that we now know is concrete washout, the material left over when concrete is made. This was found by a resident yesterday hiking by the creek, and this area at 18 Mile Road and Mound in Sterling Heights is highly industrial, and the Macomb County Public Works Commissioner believes one of a few companies is to blame. When they figure out who,
we intend to send them the bill. So I don't think the taxpayers need to be paying for this.
Not only a bill for thousands of dollars, there could be state fines from the MDEQ.
So yes, they could fine them if they want to, if they feel that it's necessary. Or again, I mean, we really want the companies to understand exactly what they need to do.
Now there's a boom with a catch curtain in the creek to get all of that concrete washout from the water, because this is water that will end up in our homes.
All of this contamination, whether it's diesel oil or concrete wash or whatever people think they're putting into our drains, eventually finds its way out into the Clinton River, into Lake St. Clair. And by the way, folks, that is our drinking water supply. So we all have to be very cognizant.
In Sterling Heights, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
Still to come, boy, I'm sure glad I hit that pothole. Said no one ever.
Except this one guy whose life was in danger until he hit a big old road crater. We'll explain how it might have saved his life. But first, here's Coco McAvoy.
A Shelby Township family had an unexpected visitor at their back door. We'll tell you more about what happened and who visited them.
Well, a family over in Shelby Township woke up to an unexpected visitor at their back door. Take a look at that.
Look at this. This is getting a little out of hand here. This is a coyote that was hungry for the family's 5-month-old puppy. It happened in a neighborhood near 24 and Van Dyke. Local 4's Coco McAvoy went to speak with a homeowner who couldn't quite believe what she saw at the front door.
The Gambos family was inside of their home here in Shelby Township when all of a sudden they were face to face with a coyote. The coyote slammed into their glass door here.
All right, sit. Go boy.
It was a typical morning for the Gambos family.
My alarm went off.
Allison Gambos let her puppy Captain outside for a little while and went back into the house.
I hit the snooze on the alarm, trying to get a couple minutes more rest, and we heard a thud slam into our glass door wall.
They didn't know what was at their door.
We thought it was a bird or a goose or something hitting that door wall, and he looked and he goes, "No, that's a coyote." And we could not believe what we were seeing.
A coyote staring at them and staying put.
So it was kind of a surreal moment.
A surreal moment and a scary moment because
we had our puppy out there just 10 minutes before, and I couldn't imagine if something were to happen to him.
They live in a dog-friendly neighborhood, so the Gambos family alerted the neighbors.
And we just wanted to make sure that everybody was vigilant and knew that this coyote was here, it was roaming. Just watch your dogs and make sure that they're safe.
The good news is everyone is safe, including the coyote. And that's all the Gambos family can ask for. And this did happen just yesterday, and the family has not seen the coyote since, but they did post about their experience on Facebook, and it's already been shared thousands of times. Back to you.
And Coco, I'd imagine the DNR is looking into this?
Yes, so the family did reach out to the DNR and they said, yes, that's most likely a coyote, and they'll have someone check it out.
All right, thank you, Coco. What a story.
Another good reason you don't just open the door. In good health tonight, it's a rare story of how a pothole actually helps someone for once.
Yes, a 59-year-old Nebraska man was being rushed to the hospital with heart problems. The man's heartbeat reportedly reached 200 beats per minute. While medics were working to bring the man's heartbeat down, the ambulance hit a pothole. According to the Omaha Scanner on Twitter, the man's heartbeat returned to normal after the pothole shakeup. Doctor says while rare and bizarre, this can happen.
One way to treat that is with an electrical shock. Classically, you'll see on television, the paddle's clear and the big jolt. Turns out you can do that with a pothole.
Who would have thought? The man's friends say he is resting at home tonight. They expect him to make a full recovery.
Well, I just don't know what to say about that.
I don't either.
Boy,
I'm glad he's okay.
I'm so used to hating potholes, but yeah. All right. The weather has not been great for creating some new potholes, that's for sure.
That's right. We still have rain that's in the forecast for later on this evening and tonight, but guess what? Sunshine coming back for our Easter Sunday. Let's deal with some of the rain that's around right now. Fortunately, it's just sprinkles that we have to contend with as we go through the next hour or so. You can see them moving in across the Ohio border into Lenawee and Monroe counties at this hour, so getting a little wet once again for our friends and neighbors down toward Adrian, also around Dundee, but there's a lot more moisture down to our south and west. You can see down here, this area of low pressure spinning away over Tennessee. Huge system responsible for tornado threats in parts of the deep south, from Georgia into the Carolinas. Those thunderstorms still moving across portions of Virginia. Well, we're not going to see any thunderstorms for tonight, but more of this moisture moves in, so at least light to moderate rain showers that will be quite widespread toward midnight and afterward. Out there right now, it remains chilly. 42 degrees, a wind of 17 miles per hour, making it feel colder. So if you're going out tonight, whether it's celebrating Passover, coming downtown for the baseball game, we're looking at temperatures continuing to slide mostly into the low 40s down to about 40 degrees. So barely budging from where they are now. So the main story is bundle up because of how chilly it is, but also be prepared for some wet conditions out there before and after sitting down for Seder. We're looking at some sprinkles continuing at 9 p.m., but heavier rain showers or more widespread rain as we get closer to 10, 11 o'clock tonight and afterward. Here's a sneak peek at the rest of your holiday weekend. Pistons have some playoff basketball on Saturday evening, 48 degrees, so a chilly day tomorrow and wet, so make sure you be careful on the roads once again. Also check ahead if you have any flights coming or going, make sure they're still on time with the rain that's in the forecast. And for Easter Sunday, sunnier, milder. Some relief with high temperatures back into the 60s. We're looking at 39 degrees right now, already in the upper 30s in places like Macomb Township, also areas along Hall Road northward, 42 in Dundee, 41 in Ann Arbor. So temperatures stay right about where they are. Certainly much colder than yesterday, right? By the tune of 21, 25, 29 degrees from 24 hours ago. And it remains chilly overnight and for tomorrow afternoon. Wind generally out of the north, giving us that chillier air. it's going to shift ever so slightly out and come out of the northeast. That will pose flood concerns once again along the lake shores of Lake Huron and of Lake Erie. So lakeshore flood advisories up once again from Luna Pier and places in Monroe County on into Sanilac and St. Clair counties. Here's that rain as it marches in from the south, mainly around midnight and afterward. When you join me tomorrow morning on Local 4 News Today, it will certainly be soggy with moderate to heavy showers at times. So make sure when you're out there on the roads, if you come across any high standing water, remember, turn around, don't drown, find an alternate route. Always better to be safe than sorry, right? That area of low pressure eventually dissipates a bit and starts to pull away. High pressure takes over. That means sunshine for our Easter Sunday and milder conditions next week. Just got to get through a couple more days of chilly weather like this and wet weather with those showers returning tonight. Sunset this evening is at 8:19. 44 degrees at noon tomorrow, wet especially in the morning, chilly and breezy during the day, sunrise at 6:45, temperatures around 48. Be prepared for wet conditions outside of LCA for some playoff basketball with the Pistons taking on Milwaukee. There's that good news for Easter Sunday, a high of 65 degrees, some sunshine coming back. Warmer on Monday with a few showers, a high of 70 though, and highs in the 60s. Nice and mild during the day, cool at night throughout much of next week, with sunshine returning for much of next week as well.
That'll go great with a Pistons victory.
All right, thank you, Andrew. We do want to make a clarification to a report we aired earlier this month about a man who pled guilty to bid rigging in the Detroit demolition investigation. We said the defendant in the case, Arando Hoskins, claimed in court to have taken bribes from Rich Adamo and that he admitted to giving confidential contract information to Rich Adamo. Those statements were not accurate, and we apologize to Mr. Adamo for that error.
We're back with more in sports, more on Steve Yzerman's return to Detroit. Stay with us. All right, Jamie's out live at LCA tonight. I don't know, something about a new job or something.
Kind of a huge story. It's big.
Is it? Kind of big?
It's kind of a big deal, guys. The Red Wings announced Steve Yzerman as their next general manager. Happened this afternoon right here at Little Caesars Arena. We have video of the press conference in front of a packed room filled with media and former teammates. Steve Yzerman spoke as a member of the Red Wings once again.
You saw this organization build and get back to where it was from the 50s and early 60s. And again, I know so many people here. I always wanted the Red Wings to do well, and but also knowing that there's cycles, and you know the people here, they know what they're doing. They're going to get it back up there. So I didn't feel good about watching the team, struggle, because I know the people here, but also I know how hard it is to, being a part, being in the league. It's hard, and that's the business we're in.
Now, many former teammates came today to congratulate Stevie Y in person. Mike Babcock, little busy. He has a game with the Boston Bruins later on tonight, but in Toronto, he had this message for Yzerman.
Stevie's a fan favorite in Detroit like no other. I remember one night in overtime or in the shootout, he jumped over the boards, the place started to shake. When you've done what a guy like him's done for a franchise, you've earned the right for people to feel like that about you, and he'll do a great job.
I keep saying that this is a game changer, sort of a defining moment in this organization. I asked him what he thinks about the April 19th, 2019, and him being number 19. He said, ask me in 5 years. So he had some jokes today. We're going to talk about college basketball now. Michigan State star, Big Ten Player of the Year, Cassius Winston decided to return for his senior season, and Nick Ward, his teammate, decided to go to the NBA. Speaking of the NBA, in this building, the Pistons will host a playoff game here tomorrow. They lost games 1 and 2 by a combined 56 points in Milwaukee. Game 3, like I said, tomorrow night. Reggie Jackson says that there are things that his team can build on from Game 2.
Because Game 1 was very disappointing. We felt like our effort. Game 2, we felt a little bit better. Still didn't feel like we had our full 48. But it was a better performance by us, and I think we at least made them feel us. So we're very optimistic and looking forward to Game 3 tomorrow.
Not a lot can overshadow a playoff game, but like we talked about at the top of this is a big deal. Stevie Y is home.
It really is. It's probably the best thing that's happened to all of Detroit sports in years. So yeah, exactly right, Jamie. Thanks.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us on this big news day.
Big day. NBC Nightly News coming up next. We'll see you at 11.